Oh hi, this is the new in thing. It's a screen, mobile screen that actually folds and does not break. My parents gasped in excitement when they saw this. So bending the limits of technology quite literally are the foldables. In fact, brands like Samsung and Motorola have forayed into this segment quite aggressively, and other brands are also catching up. But can foldable devices define the future of tech? Does the future belong to them, and do we actually need foldables? I'm Sumita Khareed, and I'm going to talk about the usability, battery, and of course the pricing of foldables. Stick around. You can go from a fold to a mini tablet screen and back to a phone. In fact, foldable phones have been a much highly anticipated feature ever since the first prototypes emerged in 2010. And now there's a mad rush for them. Reports are doing the rounds that Samsung is expected to launch at least 5 phones very soon. In fact, even Oppo has patented a phone that folds multiple times, and Apple's on the same path too. For me, I think it makes business sense because brands have to justify the high prices that they're putting on their phones. Bendables are essentially 2 devices rolled into one, allowing you to multitask, work in separate columns, and use different apps simultaneously. And more importantly, they give you a large screen, immersive experience. In fact, some brands like Samsung have ensured a refresh rate of 120 Hz, which cannot be seen on any other smartphone. Now, this actually ensures that games stream smoothly.
A proper folding smartphone has a lot of positives, like split screen multitasking is a plus, gaming performance is a plus, and you can switch between a bigger or a smaller screen at will. The Galaxy Fold brings you both the smartphone experience and the tablet experience as well.
But here's the catch. Not many think that foldables are practical use case right now, and here's why. Number 1, durability. Now, because of the folding mechanism, the screen could wear down. It could get damaged more easily, and some of the instances have also been reported in the past. The other thing is, it's very difficult. If the phone is big, it's very difficult to slide this into your pocket unless the front screen is big enough so you don't have to open it and use it.
It's going to be a learning curve, definitely for a lot of users to handle such a big form factor. Definitely people have been using the foldable laptops, they've been using tablets, so it's not that difficult. However, in terms of pocketability, it's going to be a little bit difficult in terms of getting from one hand use to two hand use. It's going to be a little bit of pain.
Although this form factor might be great with app continuity and multitasking, but I'm not so sure of the user experience. Now, the designs of some of these phones are clunky and heavy. Some of these phone models do not have front big screens, which might not be big enough to be used on their own, and they have thick bezels at a time when bezel-less screens are the in thing. The screen could also develop creases because of the folds, and people have often complained of gaps in the hinge mechanism too, which lets the dirt in cause of space. Samsung's Fold first generation, for instance, had that issue, but the brand was quick to bring in a better one with the Fold 2. Next up, the components are very difficult to find because right now these are not mass produced as, for example, any other regular phone would be. So because the demand is not that much, the components are harder to find. Although there were more than 1 million phones that were sold this year according to Counterpoint research, but that's not a scalable number for brands to become profitable. So that price barrier still has to be broken. For a category of phones this expensive, certainly the battery could have been better. Let's take the example of Samsung's Fold 2, for example. The phone's otherwise great, but the battery is 4500 mAh and it's a foldable phone. Talking about the Moto Razr and of course Z Flip, they don't even come close. So unless there's one form factor which remains steady for some time, it's going to be slightly problematic even for developers because the cost of making a foldable is a lot even for brands and developers. But all is not gloom and doom. On the software front, Google is trying to support the design like add as much screen ratio or multi-windows and app continuity.
What we have seen from Google is supporting foldable design to some extent in the Android 10 and 11. It is improving with every generation of Android, where Google is supporting for the hinge mechanism. There's a sensor in the hinge mechanism. Developers can come to know and can adapt their application according to the different form factor and leverage the foldable design.
So there's no one simple answer, but yes, foldables are the next step in the evolution of the form factor, or at least till the time all of us have either rejected or accepted the use of certain form factors. And experts also say that because of 5G, with the adoption of video and of course streaming, this is only going to go 3 times of what the market currently is.
We could also have a stretchable design like we saw in the Oppo. We will see the higher durability, reliability of the foldable designs. But it is going to be a step evolution. It's not going to be overnight. It will take a few more years.
Take the example of tablets, for instance, and how they evolved from 2010 to 2016. And after that, there's been a standardization in terms of how the tablets would look and how the form factor will be. Same is the case with foldables. I think we're still getting to use them. We're still getting to understand how these function. And of course, we still have to accept them in our daily lives. I think this technology is still new. It's still niche. There's lots of scope for improvement. And of course, these are devices of the future. That's it from me. This is Sumita Karir signing off. Let me know what you thought of this explainer and what you think of foldables. Goodbye and thank you very much for watching.